Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've had a nice weekend. It is Monday the 8th of August 2022 and we are doing our Facebook Live based on our coffee and card designs. And these are using the Amazing Year stamp set. I'm going to have to stand up because Cassie's right in the way. Let me pop the lights on. I've had to shut the blinds because it was so bright with the sun, which is lovely. But it does cast rather large shadows on my work surface. So this is the stamp set that we're using today. As you can see, it's called Amazing Year. It features a little bouquet of flowers with a sentiment that says enjoy your day. And then it has a little present and 5 sentiments. We have birthday wishes, we have for you, to a wonderful friend, you're an entire year more amazing and lovely as ever, and a little happy birthday. Good morning, or should I say good evening, Kerry, to you. I hope you're well. So we did these on Friday at Coffee and Cards in Brackley, and today we are going to be doing them this afternoon in Toaster. So I thought it was a great opportunity to do them for you this morning. So we're just going to do the basic version today, and then I've got some ideas of some other ways that you could use this stamp set. So I'll be featuring those tomorrow, Tuesday. And in fact, we will be here in the morning tomorrow, as I have an evening team meeting. We're out for a meal tomorrow with our team, the local people that can make it. So I won't be here in the evening. So let's get cracking. So for this we've used note cards and envelopes, and I'm just using some white, basic white card. That's 4.5 by 3 inches. I've got going to use a coloured layer, which is 3.25 by 4 3/4, and then our note card and envelope, which is 3.5 inches by 5. So I'm going to do one of each for you. First one I'm going to do is the little bunch of flowers. And I do try and take Stamparatus with me for coffee and card, to help anybody who has maybe dexterity issues, or maybe they're not used to stamping. It gives them the opportunity to get a better image every time. So I'm just going to place my piece of white card down on my Stamparatus, and I've just marked a little spot here with some washi tape. I'm going to pop my 2 magnets on there to hold it in place, and then I'm going to grab the stamp set. So I'm going to use this one first, and I'm going to pop this down a little bit high so that I can pop a sentiment underneath. And enjoy your day. Could be birthday, it could be anniversary, it could be graduation. So I'm just going to bring the plate over and pick the stamp up with the top plate. And I'm going to use Early Espresso, surprise surprise, to colour this in. So I've got Early Espresso. You could use black, you could use grey, and I'm just going to ink this up. And obviously one of the benefits of the Stamparatus or any stamp positioning tool is that you can ink it up, place it down, and then if you need to re-ink it because you've missed a little bit or the ink is very light, then you can just literally re-ink it and place it down. The important thing if you do that is to make sure that your card is flattened down using the magnets so that it doesn't move in between. There we go. How's the situation with your weather, Kerry, and the rain? Okay, so there's that one. I'll clean that off. Actually, I'll do it now while I remember. So just going to use our chamois. We've got another hot week here. 28 going up to I think 32 degrees, so not as hot as it was. Okay, and I think I might make this an anniversary card. I'm just going to find an anniversary sentiment. Ooh. So I've got Celebrating You has got a nice happy anniversary, so that's the one I'm going to use. Oh, excellent, Kerry, I'm really pleased to hear that. Okay, so I've got happy anniversary. I could, if I was doing a series of these, have placed this on the bottom and stamped it at the same time. Okay, just going to try this out. I've got a scrap of paper here. Just going to put the stamp straight to the paper, so it does go up a little bit. Oh dear. Okay, let's just give it a go. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to pop it onto a banner and put it on top. Oh, thank you, Kerry. Yes, I'm much better, thank you. Still a little bit tired, but not as bad as it was. That's for sure. Okay, now I've got a series of coloured layers. So all I'm going to do is colour this in and then pop it onto a layer. So I've got Flirty Flamingo here with a light and a dark. And I'm pretty sure I've got Flirty Flamingo base. Thank you. Right, Cassie Dog has moved. So I can actually now sit down with you. So much easier. Now the little leaves I've just done in any of our greens. So I've got light granny apple green, I've got pear pizzazz, and what I like to do, because they're quite small, is just literally small brush stroke like so. You don't need to go and sort of fill it in detail, because they are literally quite small. So I'm literally doing a single brush stroke for each of those leaves. Hopefully you can see that. And I find it generally easier to do the leaves first, and then, you know, hopefully what's left is for the flowers. So I think this is a really sweet, simple stamp set. I think this would be a good beginner stamp set as well, because you've got a few sentiments and I'm just going to put a little bit of green on these stalks here, like so. And I'm just going to colour in the flowers. So you could go back over and add a little bit of detail if you wish. Like so. Go. And then the three flowers are easy to fill in. Hi Tracy. So I've got some dark and a light Flirty Flamingo, so I'm just going to use the dark one around that centre area. You could also use a yellow, for example, or a sort of purple, and then just brushing it away from that centre. So it's fairly quick to colour in because it's not a huge area. And then I've got light Flirty Flamingo that can just move that colour out. And I quite like, on this size of card and illustration, leaving a little bit of white on the petals. If you can see the difference between this one, which is fairly solid, and then I know this one isn't complete, but it's just got that little bit of light fresh freesia on it. You could do these in different colours as well. You don't have to make them all the same. But literally just brushing away from the centre so that I'm blending the dark into the light. Like that. And then this one here. There we go. So I'm looking forward to coffee and card this afternoon. So we meet in Toaster, and what's really nice about that location is that they have air conditioning. So even if it's really hot outside, we're sitting in nice air conditioned place. Okay, now one thing you can do if you've got some extra card is you could stamp the Enjoy Your Day and cut it out and decoupage it. So let's do that really quickly. Find my stamparatus. So just working out roughly where that is to go, and then inking that section up. Morning Jill, looking forward to seeing you this afternoon, so you'll get the heads up as to what we're doing. So there's the Enjoy Your Day, like so. So just that little bit. I'm just going to wipe the surface down like that. And then just with some scissors, it's really easy to cut this out. It's literally 4 lines. You could leave a little border or you could cut it tight, entirely up to you. 5 lines. Like so. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. And so this can get decoupaged on top, and you could add, if you had a little bit of ribbon, you could pop a little bow on there. So let's pop that up with some dimensionals. Like so. Just popping that on top so you can see that like that. And one thing I might just do, talking about ribbons, so I have some white ribbon here, which is nice and thin. It's like a seam binding and it's crinkled, so you don't have to keep it really flat and straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Blends pen to colour this in so that my little bow on there will match my flowers. So just using that over the edge, and you can colour the whole thing in. You can also make striped ribbon this way, just by using a ruler and creating a stripe. There we go. So that's just going to match that really perfectly. Just going to do a little bit more than I think I need, so that I'm not struggling to tie a bow. You know what it's like. And this is an offcut anyway. So this is a really useful way to colour ribbons really quickly without making too much mess. You can also dip them into an ink pad. The thing with that is you do need to allow that to really dry, whereas the Blends pen, the colour gets laid down and the alcohol evaporates. Okay, so now I've got my coordinating pink ribbon. So I'm just going to make a small bunny ears bow, like so. Oh, and what was the football result, Jill, dare I ask? So Jill, who is watching, is an avid Leicester City supporter, and I know they were playing yesterday because she was at the match. Okay, just going to make this really quite small. Like so. I'm going to angle it that way so that you can see the enjoy your day message. Let's make it even smaller. Trim this down a little bit further. There we go, and I can pop that on with a glue dot. So the ink from that has dried almost straight away. But if you were using an ink pad, so you could press it onto the ink pad, but just be aware that you will need to allow that time to dry or use a heat tool to dry it. Just grab a glue dot. going to pop it, oops, pop it onto there. And pop our little bow on it. There we go. Make this a little bit smaller. Very sweet. Okay, so I'm going to pop that onto a background. Oh, draw 2 too. Oh, that's a shame. Still, a draw is better than a loss. I'm hoping. I know it's the beginning of the season, isn't it? So, okay, so let me look for a suitable colour. Okay, so that's a coordinating colour, so I'm just going to layer that up and pop it onto a note card. And the other thing we can do with that is obviously stamp an image either on the inside, or we could stamp it on the envelope. There we go. So just centralising that. Grab a note card and envelope. So these come in a pack of 20, and you can buy them in our basic white. You can also buy them in our very vanilla, which is like an ivory, as it says, vanilla colour. And you can also get the craft note cards and envelopes now, complete with the box that they fit into. So that's going to go onto there. Like so. Right. Okay. So there's our finished card. Hope you like that. And then as I've got this at the ready on here, I can just pop my envelope in. So I can just see where this might go. If that would work, or I could do it at an angle. Oh, just going to pop that on there, I think. Just the edge of it. So good morning to anybody else who has joined us since the start. Do say hi if you would like to. And the stamp set we're using here is called Amazing Year. Just for a simple, I've done a simple anniversary card. Makes a perfect birthday card as well. It's got a nice birthday wishes large sentiment, which will be perfect either inside or on the front, as I did with, I've done this one with the present. Okay, and then this one can be coloured in, so if anybody missed that, literally I'm going to pop a spare piece of card in my envelope so that it doesn't bleed through, although it's only going to be a light amount of colour. So all I did was just use a flicking motion like so, just a single brush for each leaf, like that. That's a bit of stalk. Like that. There we go, and then I can add the detail for the flower, and maybe for this one I don't need to do a little bit of shading, the light and dark, so literally just adding that detail, leaving a little white edge. Just to make it look a little bit more realistic, like there's some light on it. There we go. So nice and easy. I do like to do the envelopes as well, if you can. Just makes it a little bit more special. There we go. Okay, so that's our first card done. So I've got Happy Anniversary, I've got the floral bunch in the centre, I've done a ribbon to match, and Enjoy Your Day I popped up onto dimensionals by stamping it and then cutting it out. Cuts out really easily. So that's the first one. And then the second one, similarly, we're just going to use the present. This would make a great Christmas card with Christmas presents, and I've got an idea for something to do with this tomorrow, so I hope you're able to join me tomorrow to see that. So I've just got another piece of white card, 3 inches by 4.5. Going to ink up present, and I'm just going to do this at a bit of an angle this time, like so. Okay, the only thing to watch is really you want your little spray of flowers to be fairly upright. Other than that, it's not really critical how that goes. And then we can do some straight forward colouring in, and you can either do the ribbon first or the background first. And I'm just going to use some Tahitian Tide, nice bright blue, and because it's a bigger area I'm going to use the wider nib. And what I like to do where I've got a big area to cover is just use that flicking brushing motion away from the edge, and that sort of brings with it its own small amount of shading. And then rather than flick it in this way, which is not natural for that hand because I'm right-handed, just turn it round and do the same the other way, like so. Gonna have to be a little bit more careful in here. Like so. Just do it away from the middle. And then I'm going to use the smaller brush tip to fill it in. But just doing that sort of flicking motion where you can gives a more natural look, I think, personally. So I can just use the edge here to fill it in, and then you can colour the bow and add a sentiment. So you could easily do this in red and green for that December time of the year. I know it's still too early for some people. There we go, just fill those little bits in, and there. Just a light touch, that is by far the best thing. There we go. Yeah. And some of that will dry out and I can do an extra layer if I need to. And then let's have I've got Orchid Oasis, that sort of slightly purple blue for the ribbon. And depending on what colours you've used, you could make the overlap a little bit darker. This is quite a dark colour anyway. There we go. So on my sample earlier, I did this with Soft Sea Foam for the present and Poppy Parade for the ribbon. There we go. So I hope everybody had a nice weekend. As I said, I had a very busy weekend. Clearing space in the garden, taking down an old playhouse that was put in when the children were about 2. So that's been there for 23 years. So I shall probably ache tomorrow, I think. Okay. So there's my coloured in present. I can add a birthday wishes sentiment if that will fit. I think it will. Or I could just put to a wonderful friend. Could be for any occasion, doesn't have to be for a birthday. Let's use that one. Oh, bless you. So Jill is doing her songbird card because she smudged the first one. It's just so easy to do, isn't it? Okay, just testing this out because I've not used this one before. There we go. To a wonderful friend. Just going to pop that onto a backing. I think I've got some of that Tahitian Tide. Obviously, if you know Stampin' Up, then you know that we excel on colour coordination. Okay, just going to pop that onto there and layer it up onto a card. Again, you could stamp the present on the corner of the envelope if you wished. You could also stamp it on the inside of the card, sort of just across this corner. There we go. And you could also add some bling if you wanted to decorate it up. Some gems if you wished. You could put some gems in the centres of the flowers for the little bouquet. Would look nice. And in fact, if I can find mine, big if, I do have the in colour dots that would match that. So let me just see if I've got them in this packet. I've got those ones that would potentially do. Oh no, I've got them. The ones that I was after. Actually, they look better. A better match. So these are Fine Sparkle Adhesive Faceted Gems. These are in the I want to say they're in the July to December catalogue, and you get 160, so you get 60 of each of those 4 colours. So let's just put a couple of those on here, and you get 2 different sizes, and I like them because they're quite flat. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. So I hope you like those designs for today. So the stamp set is Amazing Year, and this was the first one we created, with the stamped envelope and the coloured ribbon. So I just took the white ribbon and the blends pens to colour coordinate it, and then this one here I've just stamped, coloured and added a little bit of coordinating bling. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing some of you at Coffee and Card this afternoon. Love to Libby, who can't be with us this afternoon, unfortunately. Hope you feel better soon, Libby. And I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow if you're able to join us. Thank you, Kerry. Have a good evening yourself down in Australia, and have a good morning, afternoon or evening to anybody else who's watching on replay or on YouTube. If you have any queries or questions, or you want to order anything, don't hesitate to comment or message me or email me, jenny@jeminicrafts.co.uk. Thanks so much everyone. Have a great day. Bye for now.